Hi, and welcome back to English Lessons with Stephanie. This is grammar lesson number 2, and it's about the present simple tense, one of the most important verb tenses in the English language. So what is the present simple tense? Well, you probably already know it if you are watching this video. But just to review really quickly, the present simple tense is usually the first verb tense that you learn, not because it is the best or the most important, but because it is used for a lot of the different basic verb conjugations. So in basic verb conjugation, we take a regular verb like talk, and for the subjects I, you, they, we just use the base form of talk. I talk, you talk, they talk, we talk. But for she or he or it, we have to add an S. So it has to say she talks or he talks. And we use this verb tense to make other tenses such as the continuous or progressive tense, the perfect tense, the future tense, the passive tense, etc. And of course, we have a lot of irregular verbs such as the be verb, like I am, you are, he or she is, but we won't talk about those right now. So what do you know already about the present simple tense? Let's look at these sentences below and see if you can tell which ones are correct and which ones should be using the present simple tense or maybe a different verb tense. The first sentence is, she likes traveling. They go to the movies every weekend. Tomorrow I have a doctor's appointment. We want a new car, but they're so expensive. When you see your friend, ask him to help you. Be quiet, the baby sleeps. Okay, so now we're going to talk about each of these sentences and how they use the present simple tense if they should. So the first sentence was, she likes traveling. This is correct. We want to use the present simple tense to give opinions and thoughts. Things that we like, things that we think, things that we hope. So we can say they think that it will rain tomorrow. My aunt hopes the Nets will win the championship. Horacio hates that restaurant. These are all correct uses of the present simple tense. Next, we will use the present simple tense to describe actions that happen regularly, like a habit or a routine. They go to the movies every weekend. So every weekend is something that happens regularly, like a routine. So we will use go. My brother leaves for work around 8 in the morning. This is something that he does every day, usually. Or on Wednesdays, my sister has piano lessons. I usually drink coffee rather than tea. On New Year's, my family hosts a big party that lasts until sunrise. In this last sentence, we have two uses of the present simple tense because they both describe something that happens regularly. The third sentence was, tomorrow I have a doctor's appointment. And this use of the present simple is a little strange because it's talking about something that's not in the present at all, but instead something that happens in the future. And we use the present simple tense to talk about the future only when we put it together with a future clause. So here on this slide, I have the future clauses underlined. So in the first sentence, tomorrow, that's the future clause. I have a doctor's appointment. The second sentence, my meeting begins in 20 minutes. So in 20 minutes, that's the future clause. That's 20 minutes from now, 20 minutes in the future. My meeting will begin. The flight to Vancouver takes off at 6 a.m. So at 6 a.m. is the future clause. And takes off means the airplane will leave the ground, go in the air. All of these sentences could use the future tense also. The first sentence could say, tomorrow, I'm going to have a doctor's appointment. Or the second sentence could say, my meeting will begin in 20 minutes. Or the third sentence could say, the flight to Vancouver is taking off at 6 a.m. These are all other ways to show to use the future tense, but the present simple tense can also be used in the future when it's put together with future clauses. Not all verbs are used in this way. For example, I can't say, tomorrow I sleep until 8:30. We just don't say that. We usually use this future tense with these common verbs shown in the yellow box at the bottom. like have, get, begin, start, stop, and leave, return, work, etc. Next, the present simple is used to describe states and circumstances. So these are things that don't really change. So in our first sentence, we want a new car, but they are so expensive. New cars are always pretty expensive, so this is something that doesn't change, so we use the present simple tense. Or California has the largest population of the 50 states. Maybe this will change sometime in the future, or it was different in the past, but it's something that doesn't change very often. It is pretty consistent, pretty regular. Pharmacies sell more than just medicine, right? This is like a fact, simple. Pandas eat bamboo, again, a fact. Roses are red, etc. Okay, the present simple tense is also used to describe conditions. Conditions are actions that happen before something else happens. So in our first sentence, the condition is when you see your friend. The result is ask him to help you. So the condition, you have to see your friend first. Before the result, you ask him to help you. And the condition should always be in the present tense, even though it's happening in the future. The second sentence, whenever he drinks too much, he gets a headache. And whenever tells us that this is something that happens frequently. It happens more than once. The third sentence, if it rains tomorrow, we won't go to the park. And this is something that's happening tomorrow. This is a future clause, tomorrow. And even though it's in the future, we use the present simple tense because it's a condition. We can't just say, though, it rains tomorrow. That's not a common use of the present simple with the future. We can say, if it rains tomorrow, we won't go to the park because it's part of a condition clause. Okay, the last sentence was be quiet, the baby sleeps. And this sentence is the only one that is not correct. So the present simple is not used for things that are happening right now. If I'm telling you to be quiet, it's because the baby is sleeping right now. And for things that are happening right now, we use a different verb tense. We use the present continuous, or sometimes called the present progressive. And so that is a totally different verb tense. So do not use the present simple tense to describe things that are happening right now. There are exceptions, of course. And in this yellow box, we see sense words, right? Sense words refer to our senses of smelling, touching, hearing, tasting. So if you are sensing something, then you can use the present simple tense even though it's happening right now. So you say, I smell smoke, is something burning. You don't say, I am smelling smoke. I hear our neighbors talking. They're so loud. I feel a little sick. I'm going to go to bed early. Oh, there's my friend. I see her across the room. The soup tastes a little bland. It needs more salt. All these sentences use sense words that are happening right now, and yet we use the present simple tense. So let's practice. Look at these sentences and complete them with a verb form. Number 1, my aunt is very talented. She, the piano very well. What could you put here? Probably you want to use the verb plays, right? This is a state or a condition. This is something that she does all the time well. It doesn't change, so we use the present simple tense. Number 2, every Friday my oldest son, his younger brother. So again, every Friday, this is a routine. This is something that happens regularly. So you should use a verb that is in the present simple tense. What verbs can you use? Well, you can use verbs like talks to, plays with, visits. So you can see that sometimes you'll have to add a preposition, talks to, plays with, in order for the sentence to be grammatically correct. Number 3, if you, this summer, take lots of photos. This sentence is a condition, right? It contains a conditional clause. If you, so you should use the present simple tense. What could you put here? Well, you could put something like, if you go to Paris this summer. If you If you go fishing this summer, if you play baseball this summer, take lots of photos. Number 4, Kevin blank to take ballet classes. So this sentence could contain a lot of verbs also. Kevin is going to take ballet classes. Kevin wants to take ballet classes. A lot of different things could work, but you could use the present simple tense to describe a desire or an opinion. Number 5, some animals blank 18 hours a day. Some animals do what 18 hours a day? This is a fact, so you would want to use the present simple tense. Some animals eat 18 hours a day. Some animals sleep 18 hours a day. Some animals hunt 18 hours a day. A lot of different verbs could work. And number 6, something, an important meeting tomorrow. So because we have tomorrow, the future clause, you could use a number of different verbs in the present simple tense. Like, I have an important meeting tomorrow. Or Or you could use a different verb tense, like the future tense, to say, I am going to an important meeting tomorrow. But the present simple tense could work if you use a verb like have, or any of the other verbs from our list, like begin or start. Okay, that's it for today's grammar lesson. That's just a quick introduction to the present simple tense. Good job. And if you want to continue to practice the present simple tense, continue with this week's listening, reading, writing, and speaking lessons. Thanks.